Don't you know my pump to my kicks, ho? Night City, you know I'm my bike, baby. She don't got no customer, though. In the love of clubbing, baby. That's just how it goes, though. I don't need a sofa. Somebody I used to know. Video game half mask. She just wants the black flag. I just gotta sweat her. That just be the weather. Skinny lover, baby. She a blondie. That's just new slang for them tightrope mommies. Yeah, that's right. Don't mess it up. That's the move, girl. Don't mess it up. That's my groove, girl. The less I know, the better. Baby girl, I rip high. When I start sleeping on the floor, when I get hot. 10,000 opioids. 10,000 in a row. What, baby, what you want? Money and the chemicals. Electric love.
Hello. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Willy P. Willy P 420 on YouTube. Willy P 417 on. No, I think it's Willy P 417 on YouTube. Willy P 420 on uh Willy P 420. No, I said it right. I think I said it right. All right, this is a good intro, right, guys? No, but basically, please like, follow, subscribe, and also do the same for the video if you would. Let me see who it is who posted this. Um, it's Cash Jordan. If you guys would please go subscribe, like, um, and go throw a view on it. This is called Portland Horde Gets Violent. Mayor blames Trump as residents abandon city. And I've been seeing this for quite a while. And you know what's crazier is that nothing ever gets done about it. I mean, they clear their camps, they make a new camp. They try to do this and that. Is that Nick? I think that's Nick. Nick Shirley. Let me see here. I need to think. Oh, but basically, I can tell you guys right now. By the way, what my socials are. I totally did not even finish up that whole bit, and I just went right into this. Right here. This will let you guys know. Yeah, so Facebook is William.Larimore. YouTube is Willy P TV or Willy P 417. My TikTok is Willy P 420, and my Twitch is Willy P TV 1. All right, now that I got that done with, um, like I said, let's go ahead and get into Cash Jordan video. We're gonna see how this one goes. Let's get it.
The Portland Police Bureau tells me that this latest is the 12th camp cleanup in the area since June, but for now, this sidewalk over here next to the facility, this is where the camp was. As you can see, completely open now. No more tents, none of those posters.
So, the Portland Police have cleared 12 encampments and counting from the local deportation jail. And all
12 camps? See, I seen them clear like 3 camps. I'd say in the past 3 to 4 months, I've seen them clear like 3 camps out there. But like watching other people's streams and stuff like that, like Nick Shirley. There's the guy who got kicked out for fighting because he fought like 2 nights in a row. I'm pretty sure, and they told him he couldn't come within like 100 feet of the facility or something. So all these protesters that are out there acting violent and they're out there beating up people. They're out there. I mean, like that's the funnier part to me is that like I bet a lot of the people that are in that group are really for peace and for change and this and that, you know. So I don't mean to like condemn each person. I just mean to tell you that that there are peaceful people in there, but there's also the ones who are violent, the ones who are, the people that are doing it, and you've seen them, and that's the other part that makes it sad for me is that the older generations and the younger generation can't even come out to events like this because they have all sorts of wild stuff going on, and it's supposed to be like a protest, but that's another thing that's different about it too is with them starting the camps and stuff, and I'm pretty with them starting the camps and stuff, it's more like trying to combat an issue that they're not going to be able to ever truly solve until they tell all the people go home. You're not doing this here. This is not a place to protest. Like, if they want it, well, and that's the other part about that is that we have our rights, and so people are allowed to protest. But I just feel like if they were any bit smart, they would. If they got all those people that are out front that aren't being peaceful to go, and really all of them should go. If I'm going to be completely frank, because honestly, what ICE is doing is a part of the laws. It's like it's I mean it's the same thing, and that's the separation thing where they try to do like the whole like, oh, the kid angle, like, oh, well, what about their kids? And it's like literally every day in the United States people get pulled over, go to jail with their kids in the car. You know where their kids go? Their kids go to the state, and the parent goes to jail. They don't just give you like, oh, you got kids, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep this crystal meth, have a nice day. They don't do that. They don't go, oh, you have your kids with you, okay, well, just make sure that you eat some mints and get rid of the smell of alcohol off your breath. It's like stuff like that. Like it's just the whole thing is a whole like kabobble. I know I kind of went on like a little bit of a tangent there about the kid thing, but I get it from their angle because they are trying to use anything and everything that they can to grasp at this like idea that they're like fighting the system. When in all reality, like ICE is gonna keep doing what ICE is doing. They're gonna keep detaining illegal people. They're gonna keep detaining people who aren't supposed to be here. They're gonna keep doing it. Like whether you stand, I mean, they've been out there this many days, and they've still been people pulling people off the Portland streets, like that are illegals and migrants and stuff that's not supposed to be here. They've been doing it the whole time that they've been doing the protest. And before the protest, they didn't do it during Biden's administration because they had the whole like, oh, our borders are open, everyone's welcome, this is blah 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 blah. But then, and that's raised other issues because then you have, now you have like the issue that I've been seeing a lot is that they're saying that Muslims or people Islamic, or I don't really know how you'd say that, but basically that they're saying that they're like trying to move here and that they're gonna like, well, they already did move here, but that they're basically like not gonna assimilate, and whether they're illegal or not illegal, they're not gonna assimilate. They're gonna try and push Sharia law on us, which, like I said, I find myself kind of going on tangents right now, but I think you guys kind of get the point of what I'm saying is that basically if they took all these people and told them go the hell home, we're not doing that here on our like, that's the part where I don't know, then you would spark outrage by telling people that they couldn't protest because that's one of our rights. We have the right to protest. But I like I said, if they were to do something like that, like if they were to have the federal government actually link up with the local police and set a time limit, okay, well, at 8 o'clock or at 10 o'clock, which, and I'm pretty sure they have been doing this, like where they like they have like basically cutoff points where like people can only be out there for so long. I think that's why they were also doing the tents and the encampment and stuff like that, so that people had a place to like sleep who were, you know, protesting. But and that what I was wanting to tell you guys earlier is that like I seen a thing where basically they were paying homeless people to protest. So like not only that, but then they have paid protesters there. So then you have like two angles where these people might not even believe in that whatever they're talking about because they're being paid to do it. So it's like, and not saying that you wouldn't say whatever you believe off, you know, and also get paid for it. Like, why? Who wouldn't want that, you know? But I'm just saying it in the sense that, like, I think it's crazy how they recruit and they'll do it at like the lowest level all the way to the highest level, trying to get people to like believe this idea that like everything that's happening and like everything around us is falling apart and that, oh, this is the worst, this is blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I mean, there's parts that I do see, and that's the other, like, and that also goes back to the government, you know, that not even particularly Trump, but the government itself. And that's the part that I feel like a lot of people don't think about. Like, they just have so much rage towards him or they don't like him. So then their immediate thought is that, oh, it was him who did it. So whatever happens, the first jump to is, oh, well, Trump was behind it. He had the people do it. He wanted them to do it, this, that. And it's like, in my honest opinion, I don't feel like that's the case most of the time. Don't get me wrong. Trump does put his paws into the honey sometimes, and that's just the truth. But I think you also have to look at stuff for what it is, you know. And I just, I mean, like I said, it all goes back to like they shouldn't be allowed to do whatever they're doing here, and the government shouldn't be allowed to do what it's doing, and I don't think that, like I said, and I say this in regards to the government shutdown because that's another thing that's going to get people going is if they shut off them stamps, they shut off all that. And like I said, I've been hearing that the government's about to open back up, or that it did open up, or that they're like thinking about, I don't know what's going on, but because I haven't looked like in literally 2 days. Like, I haven't been on, like, I mean, other than when I did my stream the other day, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I haven't really been like keeping up with the government shutdown other than what, you know, what they post on YouTube from different places, you know, CNN, NBA or MB or MSBC. I can't think of it, but then I also watch like Fox. I watch like BBC. I watch a bunch of different, like, just random. I really just like to like because they'll be talking about the same stuff. If you guys ever noticed this, like, they'll be talking about the same stuff. You literally can flip the channel and they'll be talking about the same stuff, right? But like totally from two totally different vocal, or not from vocal, what the heck am I saying? From two totally different perspectives. And so like they're spinning the narrative, and the other one they're spinning it their narrative. And I like, that's why I like watching like all of them, because it's kind of, I don't know, it's exciting, the human experience, to be a human, to be here, to like to get a experience this. And so all of this is like honestly wild, you know, if you really really like break it down to its barest form. And like, it's just crazy that we're getting to like living this human experience, but yet we have all these like obstacles and things that are like things that hold us back, or things that are to gain or not to gain, or like things that are like the things that people do with their time. Like it's crazy to me. But like I said, let's go ahead and start the video. I'm just gonna carry on forever if I keep talking. But
although this city has a terrible humanitarian crisis on its streets, these 12 encampments were set up by Antifa rioters, whose goal is to live on the sidewalks of this place until its time is up. But as you're about to see, the federal government has decided it's the rioters who've got to go.
Portland police cleared the protest camp.
Oh, well, I didn't see this. This is the first time seeing this. Well, I mean, not the first time. Well, I mean, it's my first time watching this video, but I'm saying it's not my first time seeing Portland PD go out there and clear it out. Like I said, I think I've seen it like about 3 times. So, and they said at the very beginning of the video that it's been cleared 12 times. That's just nuts to me.
Close to the ICE facility just this past weekend, saying the move is an effort to bring down the risk for harm and restore public safety. But there are protesters who argue that there was no problem there.
Portland police have failed to respond for months. They may be stepping up recently because now the threat of National Guard's coming in, but for months, ICE officers were followed to their homes from their office.
More than 30 people were detained by federal agents in Woodburn.
What? They were following federal agents home when they got off work. To what? To try and figure out where they live? And that's the other shitty part is like they're just doing their job. It's just like police officers are just doing their job. It's just like the military, they're doing their job. And we as Americans are like, sometimes we see stuff that happens in all those divisions where you go like, oh, that wasn't right, or like that shouldn't have happened, or like this and that, right? But then you have situations like this where like the people are just doing their job and they're getting followed home from that. That's just, oh, that blows my mind.
Yesterday, that's according to an immigrant justice.
It doesn't blow my mind for real. I'm being, facetious, but because I mean, this is exactly what's, first page in their, handbook, try to figure out where people live, try to figure out who their kids are, figure out who their family is, this and that, to try and figure out whatever they can to try and dox them or do this and that. And it's like honestly, it's real cold behavior. But sometimes I get it and this is going to sound messed up, crazy take, right? But, I think that if the person deserved it, then yeah, I think they deserve to, I think that they deserve to get, arrested and everything else that happens to them off of it, because they can't just do whatever they want and just expect that these people won't do anything about it. It's just, if you like doing stuff like that, is just gonna get you locked up. And that the ICE agent just kept driving. That as soon as they realized that someone, not that everyone if you're a normal human being, you check your rearview mirrors all the time. You need to always be checking your rearviews to see either what's behind you off to the sides or what's directly behind you. But then also just sometimes but you get what I'm saying, that he obviously, something happened there where they caught on. So
This group called Oregon for All. The group is calling this the largest immigration raid in Oregon this year, saying hundreds have been detained over the past 3 weeks.
Due to community pressure, they keep having to push back the deployment of the National Guard. I truly think it's...
Ain't that nuts? Because literally they're still arresting people. They still they just said right there that they had one of the biggest busts that they've had, and they've caught over 100 people. They're still arresting people. They're not going to stop arresting people. Just like the people that showed up to protest, they're getting arrested too because they're doing dumb shit. It's
because people are coming out here and protesting consistently that even the courts are feeling the pressure themselves to stand up against the Trump regime and to not allow the National Guard to be deployed here.
The men and women of the Portland PD that I've talked to, they want to help. They want to stand up, but their hands are being tied.
So this is interesting. The Sanctuary of Portland has decided to now
stand their ground.
Enforce public camping laws just as temperatures plummet. And what nobody's talking about is this right here. This decision proves that this entire insurrection has been 100% state-sponsored by the local government since day one. Because for some reason, nobody had an issue with hordes of rioters living on the streets of this place all summer long. In fact, the police were even banned by their own department, told not to enforce any laws in the Antifa no-go zone established at the ICE jail, which was under constant siege until a development nobody saw coming. And that would be the arrival of average Americans who decided to show up at this place and hold counter protests in support of ICE and in support of the president and in support of everything the country just voted into the White House.
2 people on the ground, 3 people on the ground. Incredible crowd here.
Was that Halloween night?
People chanting.
No.
And lo and behold, nocturnal Antifa rioters don't like this one bit because it's led to their total exposure as the very fascists they claim they're standing against, as their rabble-rousing antics are broadcast, not on mainstream news, but across
The rabble-rising. That was funny. That was good.
social media for the entire country to see before their mischief gets spun as peaceful. But that brings us to the real reason this encampment has been demolished for the 12th time. Everybody in this sanctuary is now trying to cover up their tracks and sweep everything under the rug before the truth comes out. And as these homegrown socialist hordes go into hiding, they're busy coming up with new plans that involve the opening of a respite center just across the street from the ICE jailhouse, which means Antifa may soon have an indoor facility masquerading as an immigration advocacy group where they can coordinate their continued attacks on the government. Unless, of course, the counter-protesters keep showing up doing stuff like this.
Wasn't she in a wheelchair earlier?
Dude, get out of her.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just checking out what's going on today.
Do not touch me. If you touch me again, it's going to be a problem for you, I promise.
So that journalist just found an Antifa
He said, "You touch me again, there's going to be a problem." I really, truly don't. I don't know if that person would have done anything. I don't know.
rioter who he recognized as being somebody in a wheelchair earlier, acting as if they were disabled, who appears able-bodied for some reason, healed miraculously, revealing one of the tactics these people use. They put folks
Sympathy.
who might look like they are unable to stand against federal troops right at the front lines of their skirmish with ICE. But it's not working, and their bizarre antics are going viral for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, see, I watched this one too. They had, I'm pretty sure that Nick Shirley did, what's here?
Yeah, that wasn't Halloween. That was just another evening at the Portland ICE facility. This is weird. This isn't inclusive. Regular people don't want to get behind any of this. And average Americans are totally turned off to the supposed plight of these activists who instigate every single crackdown on camera. But what's even stranger is what happens when you try to talk to these people and you get a peek inside their minds.
You guys say Black Lives Matter, like he doesn't matter?
He's a race traitor. That's what
He's a race traitor. A white girl said that about black guy? That's not racist? That's not racist?
white girl. You're
So he can't think for himself?
race traitor.
He can't think for himself?
Betraying their own race.
So he has to think like you then? Is that what you're saying?
What a bizarre interaction. These street
Super.
folks that are just out here every
Super
single night,
bizarre.
they saw somebody and they said, gee, that person should be one of us, but they're not, and it just blew their minds, revealing the fascist thinking behind these individuals. Nobody's allowed to disagree with them. You have to be on their team. It's their way or the highway. But sadly for the
Which is really so sad because Portland is kind of a nice city. I mean, they legalized every drug, and I'm pretty sure that backfired on them. If I'm not mistaken. Is this not where like they have what is it? Kensington. I don't know. I can't think. I don't know. I think
These
I'm off.
Antifa rioters, they're losing control of the story that's happening here. And they're now on the defensive for the first time in months.
I have to understand when somebody says that they're gonna somebody, we have to be on guard, okay?
These have said they're going to kill me all week. You want to talk about being on guard?
We're done. We're done.
You're dumb.
Done.
Then get lost.
You're still standing here. Somebody should be.
You want to be done? This is public. Did I say I was done? I'm not done.
That's crazy. You shine a light on these guys and they back up and they scatter. And they can't defend any of what was found in their little homeless encampment, which was just shut down. Again, it was full of supplies being used to attack federal agents and support an insurrection on the sidewalk, blocking its use, disrupting the peace of the law abiding. And now what's fascinating is that because of the presence of these
Is that what like the angle that they're going with? Is that this is an insurrection? Huh. I don't know. It's definitely not a peaceful protest.
protesters, these Antifa mobsters are now canceling activities in other sanctuary cities as well.
Seattle people, stay home tonight, lock your doors. Here's what's going on. A few weeks ago, some folks on the left created a flyer that was passed around at an anarchist book fair that said, dress in block and go to Volunteer Park at 7:30 on October 30th for direct action. Now, a right-winger was at this book fair and was handed one of these flyers. And so now this person has blasted it all over social media, and now what we have are a bunch of people, live streamers.
How do you think that they're able to get all these people to come out there? Do you think that these people all just was talking to somebody at, the local Starbucks, and they were like, oh yeah, no, we're going to the protest tonight, come and hang out? No, they're handing out flyers. They're making flyers, posting them online, getting people to come. They want people to come out and make a bigger deal out of it than what it is. You get what I'm saying? So, and I've been seeing that, the Riot are, also doing, the same thing. They're bringing out a bunch of people to be on this side or that side, But, I don't know why. Yeah, no, I don't know. I said that wrong, definitely. But no, I'm just saying that like they're doing it now to where the right wingers are showing up, and they're showing up to the protest and fighting against the left, who are showing up like I said, doing the all black anarchist, Antifa, I don't know what the hell the whole thing is, but yeah, you get it.
Right-wingers, content creators, wannabe journalists in Seattle, and coming up from Portland.
So in Seattle, this Antifa crowd, they were going to show up, they were going to wear all of their black clothing, that's what dress in block means, I guess, with their helmets and their riot gear, but they found out the journalists were going to go there and just film them and say nothing and just film it and post it on the internet, and they said, you know what, the truth might be bad for us, so we're not going to go. What this reveals is that these people, they love rioting, they love agitating, they love getting aggressive, but only if they can spin all of that aggression as if they're the victims of some sort of heavy-handed crack.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Where basically their whole thing is to play the victim, to their whole because they're so upset about their cause, it's supposed to fall on everyone else and the federal government and the federal agents who are out there, and I don't know. And that's another thing that they show, all these protesters that are the ones that are showing up, in black, ready to riot, this and that. The whole reason that the reason why they come to these things is 9 times out of 10 because he's right. They like rioting. These are the type that they'll go to multiple riots in a year just so that they can break stuff, act like fools, do this and that, and hopefully, since they're all dressed up in black and face masks on and helmets and riot gear and stuff like that, they think that it's gonna, well, and it's sometimes worked to where they've been able to basically finesse and run away and get away with doing whatever they're doing. And so
down from the mean Trump people. They don't want to show up and commit crimes and have those crimes get exposed for what they are, which has started happening in mass all over Portland. And if these people know there will be folks documenting what they're doing, all of a sudden they're not down for the struggle. They're not down to defend illegal immigrants who shouldn't even be here, revealing that they don't care about illegal immigrants one bit, because their real goal is to sow mayhem and to agitate with law enforcement, and to them,
basically the same thing I was just saying.
illegal immigration is just a vehicle to do that.
And that's where I was earlier on in the video. I mean, that's where I was getting at. Like, there is people who are showing up who are trying to be peaceful, who just want to protest the fact that they don't like that immigration laws are being enforced, or that immigrants are being arrested who are illegal. They don't like that fact. They don't want to talk about that fact. They don't want that to even be a fact. They want that to be the reason to say that we're like Gestapo, or the government and everyone else is like kind of Nazi, this, that. And it's just real kind of crazy behavior, honestly. But it's not going to stop until they actually put until us as a society and all the people come together and realize that, all those stuffs are just social constructs to honestly make people feel better about themselves. Other than the people who want to come out and break shit and do stuff like that, that's just what I've noticed, and they've had multiple times where people have asked people questions, like actual serious stuff, like, do you know anything about this or about that, or and not even that they're like trying to quiz them on it or this, but like you should know these things when you're voting for someone or you're picking someone. Like, you should know these things, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think that happens a lot. I think that people see clips. I think that people Google search stuff. I think that, that sort of stuff, and sometimes stuff isn't the way that it may appear, or not even that it may appear that way, but that it's just not that way at all. You get what I'm saying? So, but let's go ahead and get back into this.
Nobody wins in a power struggle, and there is no reason for us to be sitting ducks.
Protesters who frequent the ICE facility telling me they won't set their camp back up after Portland police removed it this weekend. The Bureau recommended an emergency removal to the mayor's office on Sunday, citing a rise in illegal activity like fights. But protesters today blaming any fights on counter-protesters.
There are never any fights or issues or when they are not here, and they always stand right.
Right, never any issues. There's been no.
They're mad that no one. So basically, they're mad that no one. They're mad that someone finally stood up to them. They liked it when no one came out. They liked it when no one showed up. They liked being able to have a whole camp, and they liked being able to the community. Just hearing her talk for 5 seconds, you almost
riot. It's been no insurrection. If we're to believe these people, the last 4 months of nonstop rioting wasn't actually rioting at all, which is their narrative, that this is all just peaceful protesting. But as we just heard, once a bunch of normal Americans show up and start filming what's going on here, nobody wants to live on the streets anymore. Nobody wants to defend federal fugitives anymore. And now that their encampment is dismantled, they're actually happy, because since they kept coming back to that encampment, everyone knew where to point the cameras to expose this Barnum and Bailey clown show for what it is. And the ridiculous thing about all of this is these people, they say they've got a cause, they say they're out there fighting for what's right, but as soon as their actions are exposed as the shameful behavior,
they just want to be like revolutionaries. They want to be like they want to feel like a Martin Luther King the walk on Washington. They want to feel like a I don't really know. What's that one chick's name? They have like a weed show about her. But basically, like, the reason I say this is because people want to feel like they're a part of something that was way bigger than them, and to be able to say that they were a part of that and that they helped push that and all that, you know, which makes
that encompasses all of this. They back away. They say, "Oh no, I don't even want to be here anymore. We're not going to go back. We don't want to have a power struggle." This whole thing's been a power struggle.
Perkerson says she's still planning to come out to protest at the facility daily.
Oh, they're coming back.
We can still protest without a base camp. We do not need a base camp. We can still figure stuff out. The community is behind us.
The community.
And they are showing that. They are all rallying together with ideas, places that we can store back stock of things, like the medical supplies.
Oh, so they got a place to keep all their riot gear and all the tools of their insurrection. But the problem for these folks is that if they have another base, if there's any other facility that they start using to plan their insurrections, the counter-protesters who are now flocking to this place will discover it and film it, and once that happens, that place too will be shut down and rendered ineffective, just like the one that was recently exposed.
My name is Chandler Patey. This is my very normal apartment, and it has been referred to by right-wing social media grifters as the Antifa safe house.
Okay.
But I just let people use my...
And they don't say that. This kid's always doing this like weird poetry talking type of shit. Like, he can't just say stuff like actually what it is. He's like, let me give you a metaphor. The grass is green, the sky is blue. You know, that type of shit. And but what people were saying is that poop at Chandler's house, and that was in reference to the fact that protesters who needed to take a shit could go to Chandler's house to do so. So, and the whole, like, I mean, you see the front of his house right here. He has it all set up to where it's like supposed to be like a, you know, like a memorial type of thing to whatever he believes.
That's what a safe house is.
It's cool,
and
whatever.
Our medical supplies here, because sometimes camp gets swept and we need some emergency
Oh,
medical
yeah?
supplies. We're like 1 block away from the ice facility here, and I've just been letting people use my bathroom when they get pepper sprayed.
So you're aiding insurrectionists out of your ground floor apartment, which is the definition of what a safe house is. It's a place that excludes people who aren't supposed to go in there for the benefit of those who are, and helps them continue in their mission to, I guess, break into this jailhouse and destroy it. We've seen these folks coming in and out of this place. It's been exposed. Everyone knows where it is. And that brings us to the power struggle angle that the protester with the caution tape tying her hair up was educating us about. But part of the reason the encampment is now gone for the 12th time is because Portland says it's going to enforce its no camping ordinance. But this no camping ordinance, shouldn't this be something that is enforced all across Portland, or is it just going to be enforced right here at the Antifa encampment at the ICE jail?
I'm on 5th in Northwest Gleason in Portland, Oregon. I worked at this shelter 21 years ago. Now, 21 years ago, we had just promised to end unsheltered homelessness in 10 years. We didn't have a plan, no model, no standardized approach, just, hey, we're going to end it.
I don't think it
Public
works.
got excited. The budgets exploded because everyone's like, wow, that's amazing. We can handle 10 years. 10 years go by. We said, well, we failed because we didn't have enough money. So guess what? We did it again and promised in 10 years we would end unsheltered homelessness.
Look, you can see tents right behind where this gentleman's walking. He's not even trying to film how awful and sad the crisis here is in Portland, but there it is. It's everywhere. It's inescapable. And what this reveals is these local no camping ordinances, they're just more selective enforcement of a group of laws that nobody running this place actually takes seriously. They're not serious about stopping lawlessness on their streets. They're not serious about helping the homeless get off their streets. If they were, it wouldn't have taken 2 back-to-back 10-year promises to get nowhere. Something would have happened, but it's not happening.
In 33 days, the mayor of Portland today says we are going to end unsheltered homelessness.
All right, third time's a charm.
December 1st.
December 1st.
That, of course, will not happen. People need to realize that this is this ongoing lie that Portland has been telling the public for decades. Because unfortunately, people have short-term memory loss or something and don't remember the promises that were.
It's the new promise that keeps people going. Things.
Yeah, that I think that's he's right on cue with that. Like I was just about to say, like I think that their probably biggest problem is that it's almost like predictions. Like if a prediction's wrong, like they'll try to make a new prediction so that people hang on to whatever longer. So like that's the same thing that's happening here is the people who are funding it are getting straight robbed by the people who have the money, and instead of the people who have the money doing something with it to help the homeless, instead they're just making money. So then you have to look at the second part of that, which is that third time is not going to be a charm, just like he said, you know. I mean, it's just fact. The whole thing is just a sham to keep everybody holding on, because obviously the people there in Portland don't want homeless people on the streets. I mean, no one wants homeless people on the streets, you know, not like in like a rude way. I'm saying that in the sense that like we got to find out a way to take care of those, you know, that community without basically doing it for them, but also being able to still help them. Like, and that's what, I mean, usually nowadays, that's almost kind of what we do. Everyone just says, you know, oh, have a nice day, or here's a little bit of money, you know, keep your distance. But that's the messed up part is, I mean, when we were kids, I mean, we literally would, I mean, not that we would like hang out with homeless people, but there'd be times that, you know, you would have a conversation with a homeless person and be able to talk to them and stuff like that. And then you find out what the actual, you know, sometimes you could literally just from talking to them get to the root of whatever their problem was, unless they had like, you know, there's some people who just had mental stuff, you know, or physical stuff to where that wasn't an option to be able to, you know, get a job and make it and that sort of a thing. Like they needed the assistance and they didn't get the assistance. But I think that happens most of the time because, like I said, they make initiatives like this and then they turn around and they spend all the money on whatever they want, or making these, you know, shelters and all this stuff just for it to be the same situation. I mean, if you talk to any homeless person, none of them want to stay at a shelter unless it's absolutely needed. Ask any of them. Ask any homeless person ever, and they will literally tell you they would rather be on the streets than be at a shelter, unless it's a nice shelter, you know. But most of the shelters, it's not nice, you know. They're ran like almost like little mob arenas, or like I said, messed up shit happens there where people get touched, raped, whatever, you know, graped, and it's just really a messed up thing that happens where you can't even trust the shelters as a homeless person. But like I said, I think that they're just trying to get these people to hold on, man.
Don't work. The excuse is always the same. The excuse is always, oh, we didn't have enough money. But now that we have a plan to get some more money, we have a plan to make a new promise. But now we've got some really big questions that are going to determine what happens here in Portland. The National Guard deployments are still held up. There's still some wrangling going on behind the scenes. As these protesters have told us, they're very excited. They think that their local resisting is pushing back, stopping the Trump administration, convincing judges to take their side, to keep troops out of their city permanently, and they think if the National Guard doesn't come, they can continue to stage their uprisings, and I don't know. It's hard to tell what they think they're going to accomplish. They haven't been able to break inside this facility and free anybody in 4 months. They just want to altercate with law enforcement, and perhaps that's because their goal is to try and turn the American public against them, but it's not working. Every time people shine a light on these folks, their behavior...
Yeah, it literally backfires on them, and they look like asses because they should have stuck with an actual peaceful protest and whatever, or they should have just not done it at all because, like I said, these guys are just doing their job, which is following the laws that we had enacted by people who we all voted to put in there, or each state voted to put in there, or whatever the thing is to get to, where that's at. But like I said, I don't know. I don't get it sometimes,
It gets more and more bizarre. We've got these inflatable people running around in costumes, jeering at ICE agents, attacking them. It's
the whole inflated inflated animal thing is the dumbest thing that they introduced. That first guy who got pepper sprayed in the frog outfit, like, that was fucked up. But I will also have to admit that, I mean, those people are making their cause look even dumber. I'm just being honest. If you want to be taken seriously, doing inflatable animals and the clown outfits and all that sort of shit is just so stupid. They make yourselves look so stupid. It's beyond, like, I feel embarrassed for them because those people are going to have to go home at night, unzip that costume, and still look at themselves in the mirror and realize that they still didn't make a change at all, and all they did was just disrupt and interrupt and try to make ways to make waves, and it never happens the way that any of them ever want it to, It's, I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, if your protest is actually for something that's like, something that is like a good cause, then it is worth protesting. So I guess I understand them in a sense because they probably all feel justified and feel like this is what needs to happen. This is the right thing. But it's, I don't know, it's a hard watch as just a regular person, for real.
It's weird. It's like something out of a dystopian movie of a collapsed society. And I don't know how many people watch that and say, gee, I'm gonna, tell my family that I'll be gone for a few weeks because it's my goal to leave my wife and kids and put on a frog costume and go hop around in front of an ICE jail to free people who shouldn't even be in America. Like, what a bizarre cause to be fighting for. What do you think's gonna happen? Thank you for watching.
If I'm gonna be honest, I think that it's because they lost the whole Palestine, that whole thing, and it's almost like they stopped talking about that and started just talking about the ICE centers, which is, another part about this is that, dude, literally, ICE agents have been doing this forever. The only time that they haven't been doing it was during the Biden administration, and that's because they had changed things. But they were doing it during Obama. They were doing it during Bill Clinton. They were doing it during George Bush. They were doing it during every president has deported people or put bans on stuff like that. Like, it's just, sometimes ignorance is bliss. So whatever. Take with that how you will. Hey, thank you guys for watching. This has been Willy P Reacts, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell me in the comments if you guys made it this far. That's how I'll know you made it this far. And have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good whatever. Have a good yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll have another video.